I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is that if you've been using GoGuardian, you will no longer have access to that program when we return from Christmas break. However, the good news is that Securely is a program that we have adopted, and it will be available to you when we return from Christmas break, and it does essentially the same thing that GoGuardian did. During this month of December, GoGuardian will still be available to you. However, we would encourage you to start exploring Securely, knowing that we will have to be making that transition come January. So this training will get you introduced to Securely and how to get started. The first thing we're going to do is navigate to Securely's website. So what we're going to do is type in deviceconsole.securely.com. At this point, I would suggest to go ahead and bookmark this page for ease of access moving forward, and just have that right there in your bookmarks bar. That will make it pop up here, and then just drag it up so that you're easily able to click on it. From here, it's really easy to get logged in and get going with Securely. You'll hit sign in with Google. Be sure to choose your school issued account. Now, for your first login, it will ask you to change your password. Go ahead and change it to something easily able to be remembered. Something just like your login password for your computer would suffice. From this point on, signing in with Google will get you in right away without having the need to verify any passwords. From here, you'll be able to see that all of your classes are already preloaded. Now, of course, this is a demo account, and so it will look a little bit different here, but it'll look something to the effect of your name, your period, and the course that you teach. And all of those classes will be already populated with every student who is within those classes. An important thing to note about rostering within these classes is that for the middle school and high school, your class rosters will be automatically populated twice a year, basically at the beginning of each semester in August and in January. For the elementaries, your classes will be rostered once at the beginning of the year. If a student is to switch periods or to switch teachers or switch classes, whatever the case might be in the middle of a semester, you will need to do that, make that change manually. To make those manual changes, what you'll do is come over here to Classes, click on the class that you'd like to amend, add, or delete your student. If I was to delete a student from the class, I would say delete. If I was to add a student, I would search the last name of the student, click on that student, and bring them in to the class. And again, to delete that student is simple as well. So that is how you would amend students throughout the course of the year. To get a class started, what you'll do is to click on the appropriate class. So if I wanted my period 2 class and I wanted to monitor all the students that were in period 2, I would click on demo 2 or period 2 and then simply click start class. I would set my parameters to the desired settings and then click start. At this point, if any of the students in the class were active on their school-issued Chromebook, you would be able to see what was visible on their screens. In addition to seeing what's available on their screens, switching the view will also allow you to see any active tabs. So for instance, in this view right here, if we weren't waiting on a device and a device was actually visible at this point, you would be able to see all the active tabs listed one after another here. So not just what they were seeing on their screen currently, but anything that was running in the background as well. To get a larger view of that student's screen, we can click this device view button. From here, you have a number of different options. First of all, a large screen version of what they're seeing will pop up, and below that will be all of their active tabs. Each of those tabs has next to it a trash can icon, and I'm able to close out any of those active tabs that I don't feel are necessary to have open at any given point at this point. In addition, I can lock their screens. I can also save their screen in terms of what they are viewing. I can take a snapshot of that screen for later reference. And I can also send them announcements or chats. At this point, if I wanted to, I'm able to see a history of all the different websites that each individual student visited during this class session. I'm also able to access any of the screenshots that I took during this time as well. To get the class history, I will come up here to Classes, click on Class Session History, and then click on the most recent class. And so you can see here that at some point I had a number of different websites being visited by my students. I'm also able to see all the active students at any point during that session, and I'm able to see their saved screens. So this gives you a rundown of just the basics of Securely. We'll have more training on Securely throughout the month of December, but this is meant just to kind of give you an idea of what Securely does and how to access it. If you have any specific questions regarding Securely, be sure to reach out to your e-coach and we'll be sure to help. We would really encourage you again to, throughout this month of December, knowing that we're going to have to make a switch to Securely and that GoGuardian will be moving away from GoGuardian. We would highly encourage you to get started browsing and using Securely.